Episode 6 of the Hyrox training vlog. Here we go. Things are getting a lot more serious. This session is a strength-based session, mainly focusing on legs, but I've got a bit of a Hyrox circuit to do at the end as well. So we're straight into the warm-up. We started off with some high kicks, then the footballer's hamstring stretch, which I don't really know the name of, some hip openings, and then we push out on the kicks, going to like 90 degrees. And then finishing that up with some more high kicks, walking down my makeshift track. A bit more busy in the gym because I trained in the afternoon for this video. Into the studio, so we go into just a dead hang for hamstrings and decompress that spine. Touch the floor if you can, rotate from side to side. We stretch my quadriceps, make sure there's a deep stretch there, another classic PE one. And then into more work for the hamstring. Wherever it's comfortable for you, touch the floor if you can, and like I do, I add some pulses into the 90-90 stretch, so keeping our knees on a 90-degree angle, going as low as you can, and then some rotations in that 90-90 position as well. We then hold it, and the idea here is you're trying to push your knees into the ground, so really stretching those hip flexors, and then straddle. Same thing, stretching the hip flexors and your hamstrings, trying to reach wherever you can, where it's comfortable, as flat as you can as well. Next up, this is a yoga pose. I can't remember the name, but you get your leg as high to the sky as you can. Keep your core stable, keep your back nice and flat. Into cobra pose, hold it there for a second. Stretch out the back and then walk it up if you can, keeping your hands to the ground. Really test that core strength. I go into a deep squat just to test everything. So my ankle, my hips, my lower back. Just make sure everything's good. Hands up to test the thoracic extension as well. See what my flexibility is like. Then go into a deep lunge with the thoracic extension. This is a move I've done before in a previous video, so this really tests out a full body kind of stretch. And yeah, this was a mix of dynamic and static stretches to get ready for the work that's coming up ahead. So straight in, we've got the banded hamstring curls. So this is a strength-based exercise and you're scalable by using a tougher band, but basically lay flat on the floor, keep your pelvis attached to that ground, and you curl up using your hamstrings and hold that tension onto the back and then release slowly, don't just flick it back. Up next, we've got the Nordic curls. So this is another hamstring dominant move, kind of used as an injury prevention, but it's also a good one for strength and flexibility. The idea is to go down slowly, controlling that descent using your hamstrings. You don't want to just flop onto the ground. Push back up as quick as you can and return to the start position, and then again slowly go down. You really want to control that descent. Don't lean forward, don't hinge at your hips. You want to keep on a nice diagonal flat plane across your back and don't rush it. Burning the hamstrings today. Up next, we've got the barbell Romanian deadlifts. Standard move, I'm sure you've seen it all before. Hinging at the hips again. Lightly tap the ground with the weight and then explode back up using your glutes and your hamstrings. You feel a deep stretch as you get to the bottom. If you're doing it correctly, there should be no lower back pain that comes into this if your form is correct. If you're not sure about form, I'd always encourage people to record their sets if you can. If you look from the side view here, look how flat my back is when I get to the bottom of the rep. That's what you want for the Romanian deadlift. And you engage that core, stiffen it up, and you're just hinging and pushing straight from the hip, using your glutes, using your hamstrings. Really feel that burn. The hamstrings can't catch a break today, so we're straight into the lying leg curl. Same mechanics as the banded hamstring curl, just with added weight and resistance. Don't rush the reps, really squeeze at the top. Keep your pelvis attached to that bottom part of the seat. If you raise it up, you lose that connection. And yeah, focus on every single rep, squeezing at the very top each time. So into the Hyrox Superset for time, I went for the sled push and the sled pull, superset with the sandbag walking lunges. No rest, 4 rounds as quick as you can. It is as hard as it sounds, and on the sled, I think it's roughly 130 kilograms on there. So push, run back over here to pull it back towards you, and then go straight into sandbag walking lunges, and then another push, and then another pull, and just keep going for 4 rounds for time. As always with the walking lunges, knee to ground, keep your upper body nice and straight, foot in front of the other, and try to really control that descent. Push up with that leading leg. I've discovered that there's 3 main techniques when it comes to like pulling the sled back to you. So I go for the sit low and go with your arms off one after the other, almost rhythmically. Some people do the stand and then drag like 2 steps back in the safety zone of Hyrox, and then others do pull and stand up, low, pull and stand up. This technique works a lot quicker for me and I just prefer it naturally. What a slog, honestly. My heart rate was sitting around 170 by this point, and you don't realize it, but that is quite uncomfortable if you try to maintain that pace. So Hyrox is all about, you know, over time trying to find a rhythm that is good for you where you don't have to take a break. And part of this training is me trying to find a base, and my base I think I'm aiming for to sit around 150, and with a couple of spikes in the other exercises, because if it stays at 170 it's hard to maintain that pace for 8k and then all the 8 exercises too. To finish the workout, I did some core work. So I did the banded suitcase carry. This works on your frontal plane and you're resisting the movement of the band and the added weight and the instability that causes on that side of your body to hold your torso upright and straight without keeling over to the side the weight's on. So really have to train those obliques and your core to remain steady no matter what happens. If you want to make it harder, you can do this while walking, which affects the bounce of the band a bit more, which really tests out your stability in your core muscles. And that is the end of today's workout. As always, if you want to support me, you know what to do below. Any questions or any theories you've got, please put them in the comments and I'll try to get back to them. And yeah, that's another episode done. I finished off with some handstands because, you know, why not? And until next week, I'll see you on the next training vlog, and I hope you guys are enjoying watching this series. Until next time.